the first to know. Nsem-Pii TV.
Lawyer Eduzi Tamakolo, Lawyer Thaddeus Sori, Lawyer Abdul Basit Bamba, I express a shock, uttermost shock, with respect to the final statement. Awurade Jakpa, in the cross-examination. What is a weird case. Now, Sir Terkper, as Minister of Finance then, I testify at the amount of force and say, or no the amount of force to me, a man establishing those letters of credit. The Attorney General, and so a can court to say, issuance and establishment of the letters of credit there, you said Terkper, and clear termuno, only but said Terkper done and now to defend the at forcing at all costs to say, or no nema authorization. It is this same said Terkper and the Saint John and also a different day, Awurade Jakpa. Nane, our hosam said, Awurade Jakpa at the cross examination baby. Awurade Jakpa to Nanumu to catch record to say, number one, said Terkper as a finance minister then, or ye evil man. Na said Terkper against the transaction of the purchasing of the ambulance. It is on record in court. Lawyer said the omuti yanisa said Awurade Jakpa abien no say said Terkper he is an evil man. Obi a wa testify the amahu eya ne testimonies akọ court record. And then there Awurade Jakpa say oye evil man. Obi a na oye principal witness e dem ato force. Awurade Jakpa say said Terkper can't be trusted. He is an evil man. Na de okan ya wode sa asem ne kura ne say transaction e course ni nyina no na say Terkper nim ho hwe na onu momu kura no was against the transaction of the purchase of the ambulance. Tinadie, what Jakpa meant by that statement was that said Terkper the issuance and the establishment of letters of credit no nim ho hwe because obia or ye against a transaction there or ye then issue letters of credit or ye then establish letters of credit. Jakpa we case. Now interestingly, lawyer Paul Adomo chere nyumri. Just say, "Wama asem no aya asefem dia man this." Say no ntina same jamfio. Ase edu nkatio. Ofosu kwa achiu. Omane boa mo. Eduzi Tamakolo. Abraham Amalebo. Thaddeus Sori. Obi antumi miena no enye press conference kure nkasa bi because cross examination ama Awurade Jakpa ono ade ahoma no ati chiri wo mu nyina yenko na yenko jano ye free lawyer Paul Adomo Church.
Because the kinds of things now some of the people are sending me texts that Samuel Nsem-Pii, the National Propaganda Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, has refused to hold a press conference, his regular press conference after the Jakpa trial, because sometime 2 weeks ago, every time after the Jakpa trial, Samuel Nsem-Pii will hold a press conference, and in fact the NDC party led by Johnson Asiedu Ketia, the General Secretary, also had a press conference about the trial in which they played a tape. So one is wondering, and if you know, please ask them. We are waiting for the press conference that usually concludes the trial on Tuesdays and Thursdays. I don't know whether Samuel Nsem-Pii was in court. Let's check with the reporter. Was Samuel Nsem-Pii in court? Let's find out. But it was quite interesting. Very, very interesting and somewhat serious. The kinds of things Awurade Jakpa said. So here's our depiction of Efia Sewa's court. Forgive us if there's the depiction is not complimentary, but I think that the graphic designer did a very good job. Just this afternoon, putting this together, it's quite good, isn't it? There's a lot of talent in Ghana among young people. Plenty of talent. Look at this. It's quite nice, isn't it? You know, the red, gold, grays at the back, even though it's showing black and white and black. And that's just Efia Sewa and the trial. So what happened today? As we call it, latest on the ambulance case. So 3 things happened today in the trial. The admission of tapes in evidence, and then issue on alleged misconduct of the AG in forcing Jakpa to testify. That's where a lot of issues came up at that side. And then the third one, the attack on Seth Terkper and the late Sharia Ite. I mean, Awurade Jakpa, I don't know whether he's insensitive to culture. Sharia Ite has passed to eternal glory, former Minister of State who served Ghana well for many, many years. And then you sit in court and say she's evil. Evil. He used the word evil for Terkper, the former finance minister, the same Terkper who testified for him. Okay, we'll get there. We'll get to part 3. Let's categorize it properly. So part 1, admission of evidence. That was the first shocker. Those of you who have been following social media, our Facebook page, we were so surprised that sometime about 1 o'clock we put it up. Richard Jakpa has tendered tapes to the court. He has. Text messages. He had exchanged text messages with the Attorney General. He intended to submit the text messages to the court to suggest that and build a case against the Attorney General, that Attorney General had used underhand dealings to prosecute, and therefore the whole system, the court should agree on a mistrial and then get him off. He doesn't want to be prosecuted, etc., etc. In doing so, he submits text messages to show that this is his case. The court then asked him that the text message you submitted is not the entire text messages between the Attorney General, as we discussed on Tuesday. He said, well, I submitted what I want to use to do my case. You can also submit. Attorney General attempted to submit on Tuesday. The lawyers said that it is not in color. The judge said it doesn't matter. And then they said they wanted to study it. The judge said you can study it. So today they came to court having studied it, and they raised objection. And they will not allow the Attorney General to tender the rest of the text messages. I've never seen something like that before. A set of text messages exchanged between two people. 68 text messages exchanged. Jakpa tenders 14, representing 25%. And the Attorney General says, okay, no problem. I'm happy to tender the rest of the 75%, including what you have already tendered. It will still be in my own. So I'm tendering to the court 100%, which includes the 25% that you already have. And Jakpa admits that, yes, there were several text messages between me and Attorney General, but most of it was motivational message. Every morning I sent to him, God bless you, and don't worry about your enemies. You go forward and soar like an eagle, and those things, Psalm 91 and Psalm 134 and something like that. That's what he said. That he's been sending the text message to the Attorney General. He's been sending motivational messages to the Attorney General. As we go on in this narration, you will see him describe himself with having some spiritual power. So I'm not so sure what kind of motivational messages he was sending, but you'll see that. And then the court said, okay, no problem. Whether it's motivational messages or not, we understand. But you accept that the text message that you sent was short of the whole? He said, yes, it was. Okay. Attorney General says, here is the whole. Then lawyers for Jakpa says, we don't like it. You cannot tender the whole. I don't understand it. The lawyers for Jakpa says they will not allow the Attorney General to tender the rest of the text messages. That is what Adiosori told the court today. He will not allow it. He is objecting to it. Text message that you have tendered some. I am bringing the rest. They said, no, they won't allow it. Viewers. Well, the judge is here to determine. But in any case, thank God, the judge overruled them. And so the text messages were admitted. That's the first thing that surprised people today. So the text messages were admitted. It says the court admitted the tapes into evidence, the text into evidence, because they were relevant and had no issue of authenticity. That is to say, there was no authenticity problem. On the backdrop of the fact that Jakpa admitted that he did not tender all the evidence. This is the basis on which the court overruled the objection that was raised by lawyers for Adiosori. We don't lawyers for Francis Jakpa Adiosori. We don't know whether they intend to repeat this application in the Court of Appeal, where they could go and say that the trial judge erred in admitting the rest of the text messages and therefore the appeal against. Let's wait and see what happens. But they were overruled on this one. So the messages have been admitted into evidence on the basis that they were relevant and that they have no problem with authenticity, because the court has looked at it and it seems authentic. And it is on the backdrop that Jakpa himself has tendered part of what you are saying you will not allow. And the part that you say you will not allow, Jakpa also has evidence of it. So why wouldn't you allow it? Viewers, are we understanding, are we getting to the meat of the matter? The people don't want the text. They have tendered some. This is the rest of it. The rest of it is on their phone as well. They can easily say, no, this one was not part of it. That is why they were given 48 hours to study it. It was given to them on Tuesday. Study it, because your client Jakpa has it on his phone. So take the printout and check with Jakpa's phone. Did he say, hey, how are you? I like your red tie. I like your red tie. How are you? How are you? Is the traffic bad? Is the traffic bad? You can just compare and look at it and see that this is authentic one. They were given 48 hours to do that. They were not able to come to court to say that, hey, this word has been omitted from this one. They were not able to say that. Just that they will not allow the document to be tendered. They were overruled. So that has gone into the evidence. We'll see what weight will be put on it, and then we can move on. All right. Then the next one. whether the AG forced Jakpa to testify, etc., etc. Okay, so Francis Richard Jakpa told the court that he sent documents to the Attorney General by phone when they met in Justice Kulendi's house, and that it is these documents that Attorney General was using to prosecute him. So today he came into the witness box, and then the Director for Public Prosecutions was with him. And Director of Public Prosecutions said that, Mr. Jakpa, you have told this court that you sent documents to the Attorney General, and it is these documents that are being used to prosecute you. He said, yes, I said that. It's true. He said, okay, take a look at these documents. So he looked at them. Are these the documents? He said, yes. Then the DPP told him that, I'm suggesting to you that these documents were filed on the 29th of March. Were filed on the 16th of March. And then your conversation, your sending to the Attorney General was on the 29th of March. So by the time that you were sending it to the Attorney General, it had already been filed in court. Then he was there. He was in the witness box. You said you sent these documents, and it's these documents that have been used. Okay, the dates show that whereas your allegation claimed on 29th of March, the Attorney General filed these same documents on the 16th of March. So you see, when you are dealing with lawyers and Attorney Generals, you send a document to them, they will not say anything. They will, yeah, okay, thank you. They won't tell you that, oh, this document, I already have it, I filed it. Lawyers don't do that. Serious lawyers don't do that. So I think that's what confused him. When he sent the documents, Attorney General didn't say that, oh, I already have it. So he thought, he boldly goes to assert and to assert Ketia. I think by now, Assert Ketia and Samuel Nsem-Pii are seeing the kind of person they may have been dealing with. I think by now they are getting it. I think they are getting it. But anyway, let's read it. Jakpa earlier claimed that on 29th of March, the Attorney General assured him that he will let him go scot-free. Oh, sorry, this is about the submission of no case. I'll come to the text message in a minute. This is about the submission of no case. The date I used is submission of no case. Jakpa earlier claimed that on the 29th of March, the Attorney General assured him that he would let him go scot-free at the submission of no case if he testifies against Atuforsen. However, the Attorney General had already, on the 16th of March, filed a document saying that Jakpa indeed had a case to answer. So it's very similar, but this is about submission of no case. So on submission of no case, Jakpa told the court that Attorney General assured me on 29th of March that my submission of no case will be upheld by the court, or that he will not oppose my submission of no case. Really, that's what the Attorney General can do. The Attorney General cannot assure him that the court will sustain his submission of no case. The Attorney General can assure him that he will not oppose it, because opposing the submission of no case or not is within the Attorney General's power. What the verdict the court will give is not within the Attorney General's power. So Jakpa was suggesting that the Attorney General promised him that he will not oppose the submission of no case. But by the 29th month that he was talking to Attorney General, the Attorney General had already filed his documents in 16th of March opposing the submission of no case. He had already opposed the submission of no case on 16th of March. Jakpa says on 29th of March, he told him that he will not oppose it, but the thing had already been filed. So they are trying to suggest to Jakpa in the witness box that maybe you are not being truthful to the court. Maybe you are not being truthful. But the judge will look at all of those things in some detail. This was one of the shocking ones. We'll come, this one and the spiritual one, they were the shocking ones. Here it is. Attack on Terkper. Jakpa said on the stand that former finance minister Terkper was an evil man who was against the transaction. This is contrary to earlier claims by Atuforsen that Terkper was one who approved the LC and the transaction. Viewers, what are we going to do with this? How do the lawyers feel about this? Richard Jakpa, the same guy who gave Johnson Asiedu Nketia and Samuel Nsem-Pii a tape to organize a press conference against the Attorney General and therefore political purposes, he says that Terkper, the former finance minister, who is potentially, maybe in the event that the NDC win, incoming finance minister again, that man Terkper is an evil man. Forget about the circumstance of Terkper's politics and think about Richard Jakpa's psychology. Terkper had already been in court, this trial, same trial, to testify in favor of Richard Jakpa. I don't know whether he doesn't know or he didn't get it like that. Terkper had been a witness for the defense. He had been invited to the court as witness. He had been cross-examined by the Attorney General. He had insisted that it was he who authorized the transaction. he had added to the material the defense document of the defense. Sir Terkper has spoken in favor of the defense. Sir Terkper has spoken in favor of the first accused, Atoforsen, second accused, and the third accused. He has been discharged by the court. Richard Jakpa mounts the witness box in cross-examination. Says the same Sir Terkper is an evil man and he was against the transaction. The Attorney General, in cross-examining Sir Terkper, has suggested to Sir Terkper that this transaction didn't come from you. This transaction came so moto from Atoforsen. And Sir Terkper told the Attorney General, no, it came from me. Attorney General says, no, Mr. Finance Minister, it did not come from you because of even the way the documents have been described to the Chief Director. The letter that went to the Chief Director went from Deputy Finance Minister. Sir Terkper said, no, it is from me. It is not from Atoforsen. Attorney General said, no, it's from Atoforsen. He said, no, it's from me. Okay. Argument over. Sir Terkper is discharged. Sir Terkper's testimony recorded in the court documents. Then Richard Jakpa comes. He says, Sir Terkper is an evil man and he was against the transaction. Viewers, are we together? Are we together? Sir Terkper says that I am with the transaction. Attorney General says you were not with the transaction, Mr. Terkper. You were not. This is Atoforsen acting alone. Somoto acting alone. Terkper says, no. He was acting under my authority. And I have authority as Minister of Finance to do the LC. Attorney General says, okay, I don't think so, but so Terkper is gone. Weeks later, Richard Jakpa, the third accused, says, Sir Terkper was against the transaction. I think the judge is going to have some interesting matters to deal with when she comes to write her ruling. It says Sir Terkper is against the transaction. Attorney General thought that Sir Terkper was not with the transaction. Sir Terkper told the court that he is fully with the transaction. Richard Jakpa said that Sir Terkper was against the transaction. He's an evil man. The Shariite is an evil man. This is the kind of witness who is the third accused. That is him. This is the same person who managed to get the whole hierarchy of the National Democratic Congress, serious political party in opposition, big political party. This man, Richard Jakpa, was able to gather them in a room. Samuel Jemfi, the propaganda secretary, Fifi Kwete, the general secretary, Johnson Asedu Ketia, the national chairman. He put them together, sent them to go and do a press conference. Richard Jakpa is a powerful guy. He whipped them, go and do a press conference. They all lined up on Tuesday. They did press conference. They had a tape. Richard Jakpa, Asedu Ketia, are you listening? Jakpa says, your finance minister, Terkper, is an evil man. You see, truth, you cannot hide it. Truth, you can't hide it. The light will always shine over the darkness. Light, it will always shine over the darkness. There's no darkness that can outshine light. And people will be speaking in a certain way that you will wonder what is happening if your heart is clean. If your heart is clean. People will be speaking a certain way. You wonder what is happening. Why is Sami Jemfi today? Why is he not defending Richard Jakpa's statements in court anymore? Why is Sami Jemfi's press conference, the post-court press conference, where is it? Why is it not happening anymore? He's in town. He's at the office. He's there. It's not happening anymore. Why is it not happening anymore? What's going on? Okay, this is the final part, I believe. Richard Jakpa says that let's look at the text before we come to the depiction, please. Can you just put the text on? Let's read the text and then we come to the depiction. Okay, the text is as follows. Jakpa said in open court that because the Attorney General was bent on prosecuting him, despite his innocence, he, Jakpa, had declared war on the Attorney General. And that if the Attorney General will use his legal skills to prosecute him, he, Jakpa, would be using his underworld skills to deal with the Attorney General. Jakpa also claimed that he will use the streets to exact vengeance on the Attorney General, whether or not he is acquitted at the end of the trial. In other words, Jakpa has confirmed to the court that he has a personal vendetta against the Attorney General and could do anything to destroy the Attorney General. This is what Jakpa said. Some of it is our own words, but essentially he said that If the Attorney General was going to use his legal skills to prosecute him, he, Jakpa, would be using his underworld skills to deal with the Attorney General. He also claimed